Hey, everybody, welcome back to another daily drop here on TarHeelIllustrated.com. I'm THI publisher Andrew Jones, and the topic today is Carolina basketball. We are going to ask and answer the question, what is Carolina's path to the NCAA tournament? Before we do so, very quick reminder, and we're excited about this. I love this. I love that Jacob loves to set these goals where we're going to get with our YouTube subscriber numbers, our Twitter follower numbers, our Facebook follower numbers, since we really started emphasizing Facebook in about the last year or so. And here's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get to 20,000 subscribers on YouTube by March 1st. We're trying to get to 40,000 followers on Twitter by the end of March. And we're trying to get to 12,000 followers on Facebook by the end of March. All you have to do is subscribe here to this channel, and then follow us on Twitter, which is at Heel Illustrated. No S in the middle, at Heel Illustrated. And go on over to Facebook, and our page is Tar Heel Illustrated. You follow us on the last two, you subscribe to YouTube, and all you do, by doing that, you enter into a pool of people whom we will ultimately randomly choose to win, to give free subscriptions to THI. The YouTube channel one, that's special because we're giving away a couple of 2-year subscriptions to THI. It's $100 value for 1 year, so that's $200 value. So go ahead and subscribe if you haven't. Tell your Carolina Tar Heel friends about it. Have them come on board and subscribe, and you will then have, if you get it, you'll have access to everything we do. So much of what we do is on the boards and never gets out there. We have to have a paywall. We're a professional media outlet. We must pay the bills. So we have to have a paywall, but you can have it for free if you go ahead and sign up now and we choose you. And by the way, you would have known back in December that Carolina was going to make the same push with basketball that it made with football when it hired Bill Belichick, as far as hiring the GM, increasing staff, increasing funding dramatically, and all that kind of stuff. We already had that in December. You would have known that if you were part of our community. All right. So what is Carolina's path to the NCAA tournament? It's not a clear one unless they go win the ACC tournament, but we're talking more regular season. What can they do in the regular season to get a bid? Well, let's start. They're 13-10, 6-5. Lost 4 of the last 5. The one win was at home in overtime over Boston College. This team is not playing well. This team doesn't look like an NCAA tournament club, and they certainly aren't trending in that direction. I think they're getting worse, but that doesn't mean that will continue. We did a drop earlier in the week about, I think it was yesterday, about how this is the perfect time for an open date. The Tar Heels played Saturday at Duke, got destroyed, got embarrassed. They're at home Saturday against Pittsburgh, nothing in between. So they have an open date, no midweek game. What have they done to get better? What have they done to chart a different course for these last 9 games than the one that they've been on for a while? Okay, that's the question, and that will ultimately determine if there is a path or not outside of winning the ACC tournament. But we're strictly talking regular season right now. All right. So the Tar Heels, as I'm doing this recording, are number 45 in the net. That's not good. It's not terrible. They're still within striking distance, which is why we're doing this drop. But it's not good. They would not make the field if the bids were handed out today. Another problem with the Tar Heels resume, other than their net ranking, which can be enhanced quickly with the win over Pitt and then winning at Clemson next week, and of course beating Duke at the end of the year. But they're 1-9 in quad one games, and that's not going to get you in. They've had plenty of opportunities to look like an NCAA tournament team, and they haven't completed the task. They're 1-9. The 1 wins over UCLA. Now, a couple of things. I've said this 100 times in the last 2 months. Carolina fans have got to root for the Dayton Flyers like there's no tomorrow. You need Dayton to get on a run. The Flyers have been a 500 team for about the last month. They were really good earlier. They haven't been as good. I mean, they blew out UConn in Hawaii, blew them out. Now, UConn didn't play well there, but they still blew them out and almost beat Carolina. It's a good team that has not played well the last month. They need to get on a roll. and just win and stack wins and get into the top 50 of the NET, of the net. And if they do, that becomes a quad one win for the Tar Heels. Has to be quad one when the selection committee parses through all the resumes. The other thing is, Carolina fans, I would have said Notre Dame, but man, that loss to Miami really hurts because Notre Dame was hovering near the quad one range for a road game. Team has to be in the top 75 for playing them on their home court to be a quad one game. There's still a chance for Florida State, but they've dropped 4 in a row at the time of this recording. Leonard Hamilton is now going to step down. Maybe that will revitalize them. But the Seminoles had been in that top 75 all year for the most part and are now at 88. So they got to get on a roll in order for Carolina going to Tallahassee later this month to be a quad one game. So they need those things to occur. Well, they also need to beat Pittsburgh this weekend and need Pittsburgh afterward to go on a run because Pitt had been hovering near that number 30 spot, which if they're in the top 30, beating them at home is a quad one win. But losing at home to UVA, I don't know how far that's dropped them yet, but it will drop them enough where the Panthers, if they lose to Carolina, are just going to have to win for a long while. Stack wins to try to get into that top 30, and it's going to be very difficult. So 1-9 in quad one games, 4-1 in quad two, which isn't bad. There's some quad two opportunities remaining. 4-0 in quad three, 4-0 in quad four. That's good because Carolina's worst losses at home to Stanford, and Stanford's a very solid quad two game now. The Cardinals have played fairly well. They're not a bad team. That's not a terrible loss. There are going to be other teams that get at large bids that have resumes that have quad three and quad three or quad four loss. That's the thing. As much as Carolina needs to get good wins, it cannot afford crappy losses. So let's very quickly go through the schedule and look at what can be attained. First up, Pittsburgh, Saturday at home, quad two game. Must win. It's a must win for both teams, quite frankly. 2 days later, Monday, at Clemson, that's quad one game. Extremely difficult assignment for these Tar Heels. Then the following Saturday, they go to Syracuse. That's a quad three game, and it's not terribly far away from being quad four. I mean, Syracuse needs to get its butt in gear, but I'm not sure they're going to. And they may have a coaching change at the end of the year as well. When I say as well, because there are other schools that are going to be getting rid of some coaches. Mike Woodson in Indiana, who's a legacy, one of the better players there, he could be gone. So there are schools that are going to probably terminate really good former players. And Syracuse might do that after just 2 seasons with Adrian Autry. NC State at home, quad three, solid quad three. It'll stay there. Virginia at home, it'll be a quad three. At Florida State right now, quad two, with an outside shot at being a quad one. Miami at home, quad four, that won't change. They're terrible. At Virginia Tech, quad three, that's not going to change. Their horrible non-conference performances will pretty much keep that as a quad three on the road. And then Duke at home is quad one. So 2 quad one games, 2 quad two, 4 quad three, 1 quad four. Tar Heels need to win one of those quad one games. They must win one of those quad one games, must win one of those quad two games, and must win all 5 of the quad three and quad four. They cannot afford a loss. That right there would put them at 7-2 in this stretch, which would make them 20-12 at the end of the regular season with 2 quad wins for sure. If Dayton can get its butt in gear, that's a third. And let's say FSU gets rolling now that Leonard's announced his retirement and they win enough games and Carolina sneaks out with a win there. And that remains a quad one game. They're in the top 75. Suddenly you're talking 4 quad one wins. 4-10 in quad one with no quad three or quad four losses. I think that's a path that would put this team in position that if it could win a game or 2 in the ACC tournament, it could get in the field. But got to win games. Can't afford a terrible loss. Got to beat either Clemson on the road or Duke at home. Right now, they could play 100 times in both places. I don't see the Tar Heels winning any of them. But maybe the Tar Heels are a different team coming out of the open date. and maybe they play very well the rest of the way. Maybe they play more to their potential. If they play to their potential and they tweak some things, they have a chance to maybe be good enough to win one or both of those games. We'll have to let the season play itself out. That's one of the beautiful things about these games. Paper doesn't mean anything. It's what they do on the court, what they do on the field, what they do on the ice, whatever it is. So you let me know. Do you think there is a path for the Tar Heels to get to the NCAA tournament through regular season play? Basically setting up the ACC tournament where they got to win just a game or two. Is there a path? Let us know. And also, guys, don't forget, subscribe to our channel here. Go to YouTube or go to Twitter and follow us at Heel Illustrated. Go to Facebook and follow us, Tar Heel Illustrated. You could win free THI. I'd do it if I wasn't you. I have free THI. I create a lot of this stuff. I would. I know I have family members that actually subscribe, and I didn't give them freebies. They actually subscribe. I saved the freebies for you guys. Anyway, I'm AJ, and I appreciate you stopping by.